Do your houseplants look like this? Very many do. And we would love to show you and talk to you today about how to kill a houseplant.
Sounds good. There's really three main things that can really be sort of detrimental to houseplants. And let's cover them and see if we can't help people overcome those things and have really full, healthy, beautiful houseplants.
Exactly. Well, first of all, I'd like to clarify what exactly is a houseplant or what is not.
Right.
Number one, herbs, edibles, fruit trees are not
They're really not houseplants. And there are a lot of succulents that are not suited to being indoors.
Right.
There are a few that will work that way. But we want to make sure that what we're bringing to grow indoors is truly adapted to those possible conditions. If not, we're really asking too much of the plant.
We are, and too much of ourselves.
It's true, too.
We got to be pretty forgiving on ourselves.
Yes, we do.
So one of the main things I think would be watering.
Correct.
That is a huge issue.
In all honesty, it's really one of the top two issues.
Right.
So with houseplants, one of the things that we have to remember is that watering is going to key into both our watering habits and also to the soil conditions that we're giving to the plant. Many times when we buy them and when we think about repotting them in the house, people will lean towards the peat-based potting soils. Mm-hmm. And peat-based potting soils are problematic when it comes to controlling water.
Right.
They will develop soggy spots and dry spots in the same root zone. Yes. And so you'll see plants that are really suffering from both of those conditions. And unless you unpot the plant, you can't really see where the issue is.
Right.
So the best thing to do is really go with a good quality compost-based potting soil in the first place so that we don't have that same issue with uneven watering in the container.
Right.
And then drainage and aeration. They need that aeration big time.
And, oftentimes the containers already come with saucers, these little self-watering containers where you fill the bottom with water and then through the porous material, it absorbs it as needed.
Yeah, through capillary action.
Exactly. So you have to be very careful with these.
You really do. And the other thing, too, is suiting the plant to that condition as well. So some house plants, the ones that really like the extra water, things that are slightly more tropical, they're going to enjoy this condition where they have that basically moisture on demand.
Right.
Where some of your other house plants, and that includes bromeliads and some of the adapted succulents for that, really don't want that moist condition all the time. They prefer for the top inch or so of the soil to dry out completely between watering. So the drain tray serves us well in the house because it keeps us from staining floors and carpets or surfaces that we have them on. It's that extra little catch of water. So we want to water until we can see the water in the drain tray, but not to the point of overfilling. And then we don't want to leave it in that condition all the time.
That's the key.
Right. It has to drain. So a good way to go around that is to put like gravel or expanded shale in the drain tray so that you still have space to drain, but the container itself is not sitting in water all the time.
Right. And we were talking earlier, you brought up a good point. One of the big issues that they have are with the gnats.
Yes.
The fungus gnats.
Fungus gnats.
And that ties into the soil and to watering.
It really does. Again, it's that the fungus gnats are not really there for your plants, although they will chew on the roots. They're really there for the organic matter that's in your soil. Mm-hmm. So a good way to get around that, one is don't overwater in the first place. Allow that top inch to dry out well. But the other thing you can do is top coat with an aggregate. Maybe attractive pebbles, depending on what your decor is, gravel, even expanded shale, sand, if that appeals to you. Giving that aggregate surface on the top discourages the fungal gnats. It also gives a pretty surface to your plant as well.
So overwatering is definitely one of the top three. Next would be light.
Yes, definitely.
Tend to put things too close to a window, get direct sunlight through the glass. They can burn the foliage that way.
Yes.
Put a plant needing good light in a dark corner where it gets no light.
Yes. I'd say, in all honesty, really not enough light is usually more of an issue than too much light. Where too much light can get to us is when you have a south window where you have a few hours of really blazing sun come through on something where you can actually physically burn the foliage of the plant. But a lot of plants will show you that they're light hungry. And one of those ways is the color of the plant. If that's not good, they're not getting enough light. And the other is they stretch. They're stretching towards the light or leaning towards the light. The plant doesn't look tight and compact anymore. It's telling you that it's screaming to get to more light.
Just like in your garden.
Right. And you can provide additional light by either relocating the plant, or there are attractive grow lights that you can add that will suit your decor and still give the plant what it needs light-wise.
Right. And I think probably another one in the top 3 is nutrition.
It is nutrition. And there's another place where usually in the house, we're leaning more towards liquids for that purpose. And so we want to make sure that they're fertilized well, but we don't want to overdo it there either.
Right.
We get into the issues of fertilizers. They don't have any place to go when they're in the container. It's not like we can drain them out.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing too is we still want to pay attention to the foliars. We can still give them a little boost of foliar nutrition with the right products there. And there are consistency for sure. And then there's a wide variety of different house plants that have different nutritional needs. Right. And so with house plants, we do find often that the nutrients that we choose, the particular type of food that we use, is going to be sort of catered to that group, like an orchid food, or something like that, where they have a unique nutritional needs.
Right. Now I'm going to circle back around to the watering issue, which kind of ties into the nutritional. We have to be careful with some of our water that we use out of our faucet.
We really do. Some of the chemicals that are used to treat water for human safety and health are detrimental to the plants.
Right.
So without getting into a long list of them, when you know you're paying attention, you've got good soil, your plants responding well to the light, but you still see things like browning tips or browning edges.
Spotting.
A lot of times on the very tips, that's kind of a clue to you that it could be a water issue. And so if you've addressed all the other things and that still pops up, fluorides in the water can bother, different things for different plants. But the best thing to do there is, if you suspect that, spend maybe a month or so using distilled water or rainwater. And especially if you have things like a water softening system on your house, that can be a big deal. So sometimes switching over, again, you'll start seeing that you won't really correct the issue that you already have, but your new foliage will start looking better. That's a clue that it's just too sensitive to the chemicals in the water.
So growing houseplants is definitely trending hugely right now.
Yes, it is.
They serve many purposes in our house, even to be air cleaners.
They do. Air quality, and just the fact that it gives us something a little bit, a happy, environment in the house, a homier look. It's nice to have growing things around us. Many of us are spending more of our time indoors. Those of us who are now working from home would like to have a really pleasant atmosphere.
Yes.
Houseplants can meet that need. There's such a huge variety of gorgeous containers that we can put them in, that we can really add a little extra pop of color, something happy, just makes you smile when you walk in the room.
So don't be afraid of these guys.
Right.
And let's not kill them.